Hello friends, hope you are all doing great. Welcome to Dar Academy. This is Shahbaz Afzal and I will be teaching the general science concepts. In the previous lecture, we discussed about the three laws of motion and their real life examples. Today, we will discuss about why Newton's second law is called as the real law of motion. Newton's second law of motion is called the real law of motion because the first and third law of motion can be derived from this law. Or we can say that all the laws of motion are contained in this law. So we will prove how first law can be derived from the second law and how third law can be derived from the second law. So first we are going to show that how second law contains the first law. Friends, let us redefine the second law of motion. We know that the net external force acting on a body is equal to the product of its mass and the magnitude of acceleration produced in it. That is F is equal to ma. Now, according to the first law of motion, no external force is acting on a body or the forces are balanced in nature so as to preserve the state of inertia of the object. That is, the net force acting on a body is 0, that is F is equal to 0. Comparing equation first and equation second, we get ma is equal to 0. This means either mass m is equal to 0 or acceleration A produced in the body is equal to 0. But mass of the object can never be 0 since mass is a non-zero quantity. Therefore, it means acceleration A is equal to 0 in the equation number 3rd. Now, the acceleration produced in a body can be 0 under two conditions. If V is equal to 0, that is the speed of an object is 0, or we can say that the object is at rest. Or if V is equal to constant, that is the object is moving with a uniform velocity. So the body will continue to be at rest or in uniform motion under the condition of zero acceleration, which is a statement of first law of motion. Hence we can say that first law can be derived from the second law of motion. Let us try this another way. From equation 3rd we have ma is equal to 0. So we can write m is equal to v minus u by t equal to 0, where v minus u by t represents the acceleration of the body, since acceleration is equal to change in velocity per unit time. So since mass m cannot be equal to 0 because mass is a non-zero quantity, therefore it means v minus u is equal to 0, or we can say that v is equal to u, that is the initial velocity is equal to final velocity. This means if an object is at rest, it will always be in rest, and if the object is moving with a uniform velocity, it will continue to move in with uniform velocity. So which is also the statement of first law of motion. Hence we can say that second law of motion can be derived, we can say that first law of motion can be derived from the second law of motion. Let us check its physical interpretation. Suppose we started a car which is initially at rest. When we push the accelerator, the car starts to move according to the second law of motion. The more we push the accelerator, the more force is applied by the engine and more acceleration is produced in the car. If we apply brakes to the car, that is we are removing force from it, the car again comes to rest, which is its inertial state and is defined by its first law. Same is the case with a body moving with a uniform velocity and we are applying force to it, and after that when we remove the force from it, the body will again come to its natural state of uniform motion. So from these above two examples, we can say that first law can be derived from the second law if we reduce the external force F to 0 in the second law. Now let us prove that second law contains the third law. Recall the second law of motion. We know that F is equal to ma. So this can be written as F is equal to m dv by dt, where dv by dt represents the change in velocity, which is the acceleration, where we can write this as F is equal to dmv by dt. We take m inside. So this quantity m dot v is called as the momentum of a body, that is the product of mass and velocity of an object is called as the momentum of that object. So F is equal to dp by dt. That is the external force acting on a body is equal to the rate of change of momentum in the body. So this equation 5 is another form of Newton's second law of motion, which says that the applied force on an object is equal to the rate of change of momentum. Friends, some books they say that Newton's second law defines momentum, but as we can see that Newton's second law of motion does not define momentum. It actually defines the rate of change of momentum, which is equal to the applied force. From the equation 5, the change in momentum can be calculated as dP is equal to F multiplied by dt. To prove that the third law is also contained in the second law of motion, we take two bodies A and B in an isolated system moving along the same straight line in opposite direction. So what is meant by an isolated system? An isolated system is a system in which the only force that contribute to the momentum change of individual objects are the forces acting between objects themselves and not the external forces of the system. So here we represent an isolated system of two bodies A and B having mass m1 and m2 which are moving in the opposite direction in a straight line. So no force acts on A due to B before collision and no force acts on B due to A before collision. So once the collision happens, A imparts a force on B and B imparts a force on A, which is given by the Newton's third law of motion. So as a result of collision, there will be a change in momentum of A and B. Let dt be the time of impact, then change in linear momentum of A is given by dP of A is equal to force applied on A multiplied by dt. Similarly, the change in momentum of B is given by dPb is equal to F of B into d of t. So the total change in momentum of A and B is given by dP is equal to dP of A plus dP of B, or we can say that dP is equal to F of A into dt plus F of B into dt. So this equation comes when we substitute the values of dP of A and dP of B in the final equation. Now according to the law of conservation of linear momentum, which states that the change in momentum before and after the collision is 0, that is equal to dP is equal to 0. Since dP represents the applied force on the object on the system, therefore F is also equal to 0. That is, no external force is acting on the system. So when we compare equation number 9 and equation number 10, we get these equations, and finally we get force F of A is equal to minus F of B, that is, action is equal to reaction. This proves the third law of motion. We can prove this one more way. According to the Newton's second law of motion, we know that F is equal to change of momentum, that is dP by dt. So in the absence of external force, since the system is considered isolated, which means P is equal to constant, that is, total momentum of the system is conserved, or we can say that dP by dt is equal to 0. Now consider an isolated system of two bodies A and B of masses m1 and m2 respectively, as shown in this figure. So let FAB be the force exerted by m1 on m2, which we call as action, and let FBA be the force exerted by m2 on m1, which we call as reaction. Let due to force on FAB, the rate of change of momentum of m1 be dP1 dt, and that of m2 be dP2 by d2 due to the force FBA. So which we can represent in the equation form as this, where P is the total momentum of the system. Since according to the second law of motion, in absence of an external force acting on the system, the total momentum of the system is conserved. That is, F of AB plus F of BA is equal to dP by dt, which is equal to 0. Or we can say that F of AB plus F of BA equal to 0. Or we can say that F of AB is equal to minus F of BA, which is the third law of motion. So in this way we showed that third law of motion is also contained in the second law of motion. Hence we can say that second law of motion is the real law of motion. Friends, that is all about today's lecture. If you have any queries, please write down to us in the comments. Friends, if you like this lecture, please do subscribe our channel. See you in next class. Take care and goodbye.